Leo souls, you didn't click on this video by accident. You're here because something deep within you already knows that a major shift is underway, and not just any shift. A hidden truth is rising to the surface. And whether you're ready or not, someone has been watching you, observing your every move, and what comes next might change everything. Let me be clear from the start. This video isn't just about predictions or mystical ideas to entertain you for 10 minutes. This is a wake-up call. If you've been feeling off lately, like you're being pulled in directions you can't explain, or as if someone's eyes are on you even when you're alone, you're not imagining it. The energy around you has been shifting, and your spirit is picking up on things your mind hasn't fully processed yet. And if your heart started beating a little faster as I said that, then pay close attention. This message is for you. In the energy reading for Leo this week, certain cards came through that rarely appear together unless something big is about to be revealed. The Moon, the Tower, the Sun, the High Priestess. When these four show up in one spread, it's a spiritual signpost that says, look closer. Something's been hidden. But not for long. What's being hidden, Leo? Who is hiding it from you? And more importantly, why are they watching you now, just as you're stepping closer to your breakthrough? Now, I'm not here to create fear. I'm here to offer you clarity, protection, and power. Because truthfully, that's what this video is about, reclaiming your awareness. Stepping into the light. Understanding that you have more control than you think. This isn't about paranoia. It's about discernment. It's about trusting that little nudge inside you that says, something feels off. Someone isn't who they say they are. You know that feeling, don't you? The one you brush off because you don't want to seem dramatic. But the truth is, your intuition has been talking to you. You're just now ready to fully listen. If you've been seeing repeating numbers like 777, if you've been dreaming more vividly, or feeling drained after talking to certain people, that's no coincidence. These are signs. And in this video, we're going to talk about what they mean and how you can protect yourself while preparing for what's next. But before we dive deeper, I want to ask you something personal. Have you felt lately like someone's been watching you, either online or in real life? Have you caught a strange glance, read a message that felt just a bit too calculated, or sensed a familiar presence from your past trying to reconnect? If you've had moments like that recently, drop a comment below and just say, I've felt it. That simple acknowledgement is powerful. It not only confirms your inner knowing, but it also strengthens your energetic boundaries, because the moment you speak the truth, you stop being a target and start becoming the observer. Lastly, let me take a moment to say thank you genuinely. Every like, every comment, every subscription here means something. It's not just support for this channel, it's a way of telling the universe, yes, I'm ready. I want clarity. I want truth. And trust me, Leo, you'll want to stay with me until the end of this message, because what the universe is revealing right now is bigger than you expect, and more beautiful than you could have imagined. Now take a breath. Open your heart. And let's begin. There are moments, Leo, when you feel a chill that doesn't match the room temperature. A subtle shift in the air. A glance that lingers too long. A comment online that seems harmless but somehow lands wrong. That feeling you get when you're scrolling through your day and something deep inside tells you, I'm being watched. It's not paranoia, it's perception. It's the quiet intelligence of your spirit tuning into a signal that's been there all along. And right now, that signal is getting louder. In the recent energy reading for you, the moon card showed up in a way that felt undeniable. Now, in astrology, the moon governs the unseen, the intuitive, the emotional tides, and yes, the secrets that hide in plain sight. But when the moon appears in this kind of spread, under the current sky where Pluto might be transiting your 6th or 12th house, or when the black moon Lilith stirs through shadowy corners of your chart, it's often a sign that something, or someone, is observing you through a lens that's not fully honest. It's like a mirror fogged by intention. This isn't about creating fear. It's about developing awareness. The kind of awareness that comes from knowing that not every smile is sincere. Not every follower means well. And not every person in your circle deserves access to your inner world. You might not see them, but you feel them. Their energy is heavy. Sometimes, they show up in dreams, faces you know, but eyes that feel unfamiliar. Or maybe they appear in real life cloaked as supporters, but only seem to celebrate you when you're quiet, not when you shine. This is the subtle danger of being a Leo. Your light is magnetic. You inspire without trying. And because of that, you sometimes attract energy that wants to study you, imitate you, or control you. It's not always personal. But it is real. And it's happening more now because you're stepping into a brighter season of your life. Your field is expanding, and with that expansion comes visibility not just from your allies, but from those who quietly compete with your essence. This is where we pause and remember one of the most overlooked but powerful forms of self-care: energetic boundaries. Not everything you experience needs to be shared online. Not every beautiful moment is meant for a post. Some things are sacred. Some successes grow stronger in silence. Protect your energy not by shrinking, but by choosing who gets a seat at your table and who only gets a view from the window. In moments like this, when uncertainty creeps in and something just feels off, it helps to come back to the simplest truths. Your body always knows before your mind catches up. If someone's presence makes you feel small, exhausted, anxious, or unsafe, even if they say all the right words, trust that. Trust your nervous system. Trust your gut. You don't need a list of reasons. You don't need proof. Your peace is proof enough. When I say that someone is watching you, I don't mean it in a dramatic, movie-style way. I mean it in the way that energy works. Attention carries intention. Someone could be quietly tracking your progress, your updates, your mood shifts because your light makes them feel something in themselves they haven't yet understood. That's not your responsibility to fix. But it is your responsibility to recognize. And I want to ask you something real. Have you had that gut feeling lately? That someone, maybe from your past or even in your current world, is observing you without truly supporting you? Have you noticed a pattern, a repeated name, a sudden reappearance, or even a strange dream that keeps looping back to a person you thought was long gone? If you felt it, if something in you says, yes, someone is watching me, I invite you to share that in the comments. Not because you owe anyone an explanation, but because your truth might help someone else recognize their own. We are never truly alone in what we feel. And speaking it out loud sometimes breaks the hold it has over us. You don't need to run or hide. You just need to see clearly. Because clarity is the beginning of freedom. And Leo, You are far too powerful to be held in the shadows of anyone else's projection. Let's keep going. There's more to uncover. There's a moment, often quiet, almost unnoticeable, when something inside you shifts. Not because you planned it, and not because the world told you to change. It happens when the ground beneath you starts to rumble in subtle, invisible ways. That moment, Leo, is what the Tower card speaks to. It doesn't come to destroy for the sake of chaos. It comes to remove what's false, what's outdated, what no longer aligns with where your soul is going. And even though that can feel intense or scary, the truth is, the Tower never shows up without purpose. Right now, you may be approaching a turning point without even realizing it. A contract may land in your inbox, a sudden opportunity might appear, or a long-standing situation, perhaps at work or in a relationship, could fall apart in an instant. And while it's tempting to react from fear, what you're being offered is not punishment. It's alignment. It's the universe reshaping your path so that you're no longer trapped in places that no longer fit who you're becoming. But there's another layer to this. Often, when you are close to a major breakthrough, you'll notice certain people reappearing. They may act like they're here to help, to support, to check in. But pay attention. The energy of the Tower doesn't just shake your foundation, it also shakes loose the people who are only standing beside you for what you could offer them, not for who you are at your core. This is why clarity is so important right now. Some support isn't really support. Some concern is really control wrapped in a softer voice. Have you ever noticed that the moment your energy starts to rise, when you get clearer, stronger, more determined, suddenly someone reaches out with unexpected advice, or a comment that makes you second-guess yourself? That's not coincidence. That's energetic interference. And it often comes disguised as care. This is a reminder to check everything. Read between the lines. Feel what contracts, offers, or conversations do to your body, not just your mind. If something makes your chest tighten or your sleep feel restless, that's not alignment. That's your intuition waving a red flag. During times like this, it's also essential to care for your nervous system. Tower energy is a lot, it moves quickly, and if you're not grounded, it can throw off your balance. Keep it simple. Make sure you're drinking enough water. Add a little magnesium to your evening routine. Stretch in the morning, even if it's only for 5 minutes. You don't need to control the storm. You just need to strengthen your roots so you don't get uprooted by it. And if you're unsure how to move forward, try this. Write down the one thing your heart is longing for most right now. A new beginning. A decision. A clean slate. Write it without judgment. Light a white candle, not for magic, but as a physical representation of clarity, and let that be your invitation to whatever is meant to come next. Sometimes the most powerful shifts begin not with action, but with intention. So I'll ask you, gently but directly, what big moment are you sensing is around the corner? Are you waiting for a change in work, a move, a message, a release from debt or pressure? Whatever it is, speak it aloud. And if you feel comfortable, share it in the comments below. Declaring what you're ready to receive is a sacred act. It aligns your energy, sets your intention, and invites something greater to meet you halfway. You're not standing in ruins. You're standing at the edge of a clearing. And what comes next has the power to free you if you let it. Keep walking. Let the Tower clear the way. Sometimes the hardest part of spiritual growth isn't letting go of the past, it's realizing that some of the people around you never had good intentions in the first place. That realization doesn't always come with fireworks or betrayal. More often, it sneaks in slowly, quietly, through a pattern you can no longer ignore. Maybe it's the friend who always shows up when you're struggling but disappears when you shine. Maybe it's the colleague who praises you publicly but drains you in private with passive criticism. Or maybe it's the person who always seems warm and supportive, until your boundaries make them uncomfortable. The energy of the Seven of Swords brings that theme into sharp focus. It's the card of hidden motive, soft smiles that mask resentment, of relationships built on conditions, not love. In energetic terms, this is what we call theft of vibration. Not every theft involves taking money or possessions. Some of the most damaging ones involve people quietly stealing your time, your focus, your trust, or even your sense of safety. You feel it in your nervous system before your mind catches up. You feel drained after spending time with them, confused even when the conversation sounds polite. That's not a coincidence, that's energy misalignment. Astrologically, this pattern often surfaces during Neptune retrograde, a time when illusion dissolves and spiritual clarity sharpens. When Venus forms a hard aspect with Pluto, we are asked to confront the power dynamics in our closest relationships. That's when you begin to see who's been clinging to you not out of love, but out of a need to control or compare. And that awareness can be disorienting. Especially if the person in question is someone you've cared about for a long time. But clarity is a form of love. And your light deserves to be surrounded by those who honor it, not secretly compete with it. What's even more complex is that these energies often travel in clusters. One person may hold the mask, but they rarely operate alone. Energetically, they may be part of a small group, a social circle, a family dynamic, a workplace environment where comparison, gossip, or subtle sabotage is normalized. This doesn't mean you need to become suspicious of everyone. It simply means, pay attention. Trust the shift you feel when a room suddenly feels colder. Trust the drop in your chest when a certain name appears on your phone. Trust your body when it says, this connection doesn't feel clean. From a practical self-help perspective, this is a time to listen less to words and more to energy. You can often spot these people not by what they say, but by how they say it. Their compliments feel rehearsed. Their smiles don't reach their eyes. Their presence feels heavy. It's not about judgment. It's about energetic hygiene. You don't need drama to create distance. You just need discernment. You're not being rude when you pull back from what depletes you, you're being wise. One of the simplest yet most powerful tools for clearing this kind of energy is salt. Keep a small bowl of sea salt near your workspace or under your bed. Burn incense like sandalwood or frankincense to reset the frequency of your space. And if you have black tourmaline, wear it close to your body. Not because it's magic, but because your nervous system deserves backup while you're doing the work of detaching from invisible ties that have silently weighed you down. So let me ask you something, gently. Is there someone in your life whose presence makes you second-guess yourself? Someone whose energy feels both familiar and unsettling? If a name just came to mind, trust that. You don't need to name them out loud, but if it helps, drop their initials in the comments below. That small act of recognition might give someone else the courage to admit the same. You're not alone in this. And you don't have to carry what was never yours. Keep listening to your gut. It's wiser than you know. After everything you've been through, Leo, there comes a moment where things begin to make sense, not all at once, and not always with fireworks, but quietly, like dawn spreading light into a dark room. That moment, for you, is now. The energy around you is shifting, and with it, truth is surfacing. This isn't about finally figuring it all out, or having every answer. It's about feeling something inside you click into place. What once confused you now feels obvious. What once hurt you now feels like part of a larger map. When the sun and justice appear together, they speak of that clarity. They remind us that the universe does not forget. The pain you endured, the nights you kept going when no one saw, the choices you made in silence, ethery, all coming full circle now. You are not just surviving anymore. You are stepping into alignment with something bigger, something built on truth. Justice doesn't always look like revenge or balance in the way we expect. Sometimes it looks like peace. Like not needing to fight for what is already yours. Like finally attracting people who see you as you are, not what you can do for them. From an energetic perspective, this is a moment when your inner frequency is rising. The law of attraction isn't magic, it's resonance. When you stop pretending, when you stop shrinking, when you choose honesty over harmony, you become magnetic to what's meant for you. That's why so many people start seeing repeating numbers like 1010 or 888 during times like this. They're not coincidences. They're confirmations. 1010 says, you're beginning a new cycle, leave the old behind. 888 says, you're in flow with abundance now. Doors are opening because your energy no longer matches the rooms you've outgrown. And Leo, let's be honest, your path hasn't been easy. You felt unseen, overlooked, even betrayed by those you trusted most. There were moments you questioned your worth, moments you were so tired you stopped dreaming. But somehow, even in your lowest points, something inside you refused to give up. That something? It's what I call your soul light. And now it's too bright to hide. This part of your journey is less about pushing and more about allowing. You don't have to force anything. You just have to stay honest, stay grounded, and trust that what's real will stay and what isn't will fall away. That's not loss. That's clearing. That's space being made for the life you're actually meant to live. Even color carries energy, and right now, gold is your guide. Golden tones support confidence, activate self-belief, and energetically signal your readiness to receive. Surround yourself with it, wear it, meditate with it, visualize it wrapping around you like a warm light. It's not a costume. It's a declaration, I'm no longer hiding my shine. So let me ask you, have you seen the numbers 1010, 888, or 444 repeating lately? Have you felt that quiet nudge that something is coming, but this time, it's not a test, it's a reward? If so, comment the number you've been seeing. That small action is an energetic yes to the universe, a signal that you are aware, awake, and willing to receive what is already making its way to you. You've made it through the shadows. And now, truth is your companion. Let it guide you. Let it heal you. And most importantly, let it remind you that everything you need is already inside you. All you have to do now is say yes. Taking your power back doesn't always look like a grand, dramatic gesture. Sometimes, it's quiet. It's the decision to stop explaining yourself. It's choosing to trust your body when something doesn't feel right, even if it makes no sense on paper. It's creating space in your day to pause, to breathe, and to remember that you are not powerless just because life feels uncertain. After the clarity of truth comes the most important phase of all, embodiment. And that's where you are now, Leo. You've seen the patterns. You've felt the shifts. Now comes the part where you respond not from fear, but from conscious intention. In this phase, small rituals carry big energy. You don't need complicated spells or intense practices. You need presence. A moment where you pause and speak the words, "I am protected by divine light. I see clearly those who wear a mask. I am ready to receive truth and glory." This isn't about superstition. It's about frequency. Words hold vibration. Speaking that out loud is a choice to align with clarity over confusion, courage over hesitation, discernment over distraction. If there's something you've been waiting for, a truth, a decision, an opportunity, try this. Write down 3 things you want to be revealed. It could be the truth about someone's intentions, a long-awaited message, or the courage to see your own next step. Fold the paper and place it under your pillow for 3 nights. Each evening before sleep, read the affirmation above. Let it sink into your system, not as a demand, but as a declaration. What you seek is seeking you too. But it often needs your permission to arrive. And while you're doing the inner work, don't forget your physical body. This is where your intuition speaks loudest. A short 5 to 10 minute stretch in the morning can shift your whole frequency. You're not just moving your body, you're removing stuck energy. You're saying, "I'm awake, I'm present, and I'm choosing to meet the day on my terms." Add in a simple cup of ginger tea or warm lemon water to start flushing what no longer belongs. Stick with leafy greens when you can. Avoid too much sugar, it distorts energy and clouds clarity. These aren't just health tips. They're acts of energetic respect. If you feel overwhelmed or stuck in your head, journaling becomes a sacred mirror. For the next 7 days, ask yourself 3 simple questions each night. What's making me feel uneasy? What truth am I most ready to know? What am I willing to release to make room for something new? Let your answers flow without editing. Don't worry about sounding wise. Just be honest. That's where the transformation happens, not in perfection, but in presence. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to start showing up differently. When you shift your energy, your external world begins to shift in response. That's the essence of co-creation. The universe doesn't need you to force things. It just needs you to stop hiding from your own light. So take this moment seriously, but don't make it heavy. Let it be sacred. Let it be soft. Let it feel like a quiet conversation with the most honest part of you. Because that's what real change is built on, at urgency, but alignment. Not control, but trust. And Leo, if you've made it this far in the journey, trust me when I say, you are ready. Not because life is perfect, but because you've outgrown the version of yourself that was waiting for permission. This is your permission. This is your practice. And what comes next is yours to claim. Leo, you're not being watched anymore. You're watching back with clarity, courage, and conviction. The shadows that once made you doubt your instincts, the subtle eyes that followed your every move, and the energetic strings that pulled on your choicest TV all lost their power. Not because they've disappeared, but because you've awakened to who you are now. And that changes everything. This journey hasn't just been about protecting yourself. It's been about remembering your role as the author of your own life. You're no longer the character that others analyze or manipulate from the sidelines. You've stepped into the center of your own stage. You are the one with the pen, the presence, and the power. And more importantly, you now realize you've always had it. Throughout this path, your inner light has been quietly but faithfully guided by your intuition, your higher self, and perhaps even the unseen hands of ancestral wisdom or cosmic forces. But none of it would matter if you hadn't made the choice to face the truth. That takes bravery. And for that, I want to thank you not just as the voice you've listened to in this moment, but as someone who sees and honors the soul work you're doing. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for staying open. Thank you for choosing yourself. You've seen now that exposure is not the same as vulnerability. Just because something or someone sees you, doesn't mean they control you. The more connected you are to your light, the more invisible falsehoods become. And that's why you've come this far, not to hide, not to prove, but to finally live in alignment with what's real. So now I ask you, what truth are you finally ready to claim? What truth have you known all along, even in silence? What is waiting to break free through your voice, your choice, your next step? If this message has stirred something within you, let it move outward. Drop a comment below saying, "I claim my truth," or simply write 888 to anchor the energy of clarity, justice, and abundance into your field. These are not just numbers theory affirmations encoded in universal law, and when spoken with intention, they shift frequencies. Let this be your signal that you're not going backward, you're rising. And as you rise, remember, no force, no shadow, no illusion is greater than your belief in your own light. Everything you've been through wasn't in vain. Every misunderstanding, every misstep, every false connection was part of the path that brought you here to this moment of awareness, empowerment, and sovereignty. You're not here to be followed. You're here to lead with integrity, with love, with wisdom sharpened through experience. Let this next chapter be the one where you stop doubting what you feel and start honoring it. Where you stop playing small and start owning the full spectrum of your brilliance. The big event you've been sensing, it's already in motion. You don't need to chase it. You just need to stay awake, stay aligned, and keep doing the small things every day that signal, "I am ready." And you are. Thank you for spending your time and energy here today. Your presence in this space fuels everything we do here at Eternal Mindfulness. Every like, every share, every new subscriber brings this community of light one step closer to the collective healing we all seek. And for that, I am deeply grateful. Until next time, keep choosing truth. Keep choosing yourself. And always remember, you are not being watched anymore. You are being witnessed. And the world is better for it.